Schedule 1 is the new big game for the new month, guys. Every content creator is all about this game right now. That happened pretty quickly considering Repo was taking over, but I guess not, because this drug simulator that allows you to start your own drug business, make, distribute, avoid law enforcement, and become the kingpin in the entire place is getting people hooked. I played a few hours of it last night with my buddies, and man, this game is addicting. I don't know what it is, but it's just really fun. It's been only a week and this game is an overnight success, averaging 200,000 players every day. They're halfway to 1 million. It's already been said that this game's sales have already surpassed Assassin's Creed. So much for the hype. Another indie game takes over once again. So this game's big right now. Everybody's playing it. They're ditching all the other new stuff and are moving towards this game. But yet again, this is another big wave that's only available to PC players. That's right, another big game exclusive to Steam only. And like every other overhyped game, people are wondering if it's gonna come to console in the future. That's pretty much why you clicked on this video. What was interesting about this release this time around, before I get into the leaks and speculation of Schedule 1 coming to console, a lot of people apparently think this new game that's blowing up, Schedule 1, has no way of coming to console in the future because the content included in the game isn't appropriate for a platform like Xbox or the PS5. People believe Steam to be the platform that lets the small indie developers get a little loose, post any kind of game they want on the platform, even the crazy adult rated games that wouldn't pass on other platforms. If you know, you know. But people are looking at Schedule 1 and they're like, there's no way this game is coming to console. They keep saying Steam isn't as strict for titles like this compared to console, and that a drug simulator wouldn't pass through Microsoft and Sony, as apparently console compared to PC is more family friendly, which I don't think is true. Hello, we have Dead Space, Red Dead Redemption, Resident Evil. Nowadays, anybody really plays rated M games. Even kids, they play it like nothing. I remember back in the day, I wasn't allowed to play rated M games when I was like 12, but in this generation, they just download it on their console, play it, and their parents don't even know. But Schedule 1, I don't really see this game being in that category. While you're looking at me play in the background, you're seeing me freaking pack some pot and sell it around the neighborhood. But just looking at the game, it's goofy. Not even the developers take their game seriously. The whole game is just like a little joke. It's just meant to be fun. It's not really meant to be taken so seriously. So I don't get why articles and community posts are saying that Schedule 1 has no possible way of coming to console because it's too violent, or just the idea of distributing drugs and making them, it affecting the neighborhood around you and within the game. It's not gonna sit so well for Microsoft and Sony. Valve, they're okay with it. Like I said, they have other titles far worse than this. But it is true, console is a little bit more censored when it comes to graphic games. But not really graphic games, more like sexual games really. But something like Schedule 1, they're gonna throw on their platform, no questions asked. They don't care. It's gonna generate them crazy amounts of revenue, especially because GTA is on there, and a lot of people are comparing this game to GTA for some reason. I think it has to do with some of the missions that involve the weed farm, and drugs are heavily enforced in the game, but that comes with the rating. That's what rated mature is for. Like, they're gonna bring Schedule 1 to console eventually. They're just gonna slap the rated M rating on there and that's it. I don't think all this nonsense that people are talking about is actually gonna happen. Whenever TVGS, the studio behind Schedule 1, decides to port over the game, they're not gonna look long and hard at Schedule 1 just because you're making and selling drugs. I mean, they have other drug dealer simulator games on the platform. In the end, this is all just a game. It's not gonna affect real life. People gotta understand it's just a video game. It doesn't matter. Only for entertainment purposes. Honestly, the in-game content isn't as bad compared to other games out there. Character models, they're really cartoony. Like, it looks like totally accurate battlegrounds. Seriously, it's not that serious. Just want to ease that tension in the community. But for those of you who are serious and wondering if a console release is actually gonna happen, like I said, the game just came out. It's still relatively early. The developers are focused on updating the game. It just came out. We don't even have a 1.0 update. By the way, the developers released a roadmap with a bunch of ideas and upcoming features. Next video is going to be based on that, so subscribe if you want to tune in for that. So the game's new. It's in early access. It's not even a full release. The developer, by the way, it's only one guy that made this game, said that Schedule 1 will continue to receive substantial content updates on a monthly basis for the next few years. We would like to involve the community in the game's development so that we can create the best virtual drug dealer experience on the market. If you're wondering what early access means, it's basically like a beta. The game is still being worked on, and just like every other early access game, Repo, Phasmophobia, Rust, you name it, the game needs to get out of early access first before it could get ported to console. And the reason for that is it's going to be too much for the developers to port over an unfinished version of the game. They're basically saying, let us finish it and then we'll consider other platforms. But that's not the top priority right now. After the game gets out of early access, it becomes a full-fledged game. That's when new doors open and the possibility of it coming to console is high. We've seen this happen with plenty of other titles. games that first arrived on Steam and then made its way to console after developers worked on the game. The Schedule 1 is planned to be in early access for the next 2 years. Usually developers say 6 to 12 months, but we sort of got a Lethal Company situation on our hands where it's just one talented guy that made the game. It's just gonna be too much for him to try and get this game out to other platforms. Right now he's just focused on updating it, keeping the players, and then seeing what happens when 2027 arrives. It sucks to say this, but it may be a very long time before Schedule 1 comes to console. It's gonna remain a PC only game for a while, guys, and it's not because of the game's nature like all these people are claiming. It's just too early to determine a new game like this coming out to another platform. It's unlikely, especially when only one guy made the game. He has his hands tied on expanding the map, adding several more drugs and production processes, larger customers and supplier network, and extra props in the game to make it more fun. Still though, the early access version of the game is still pretty fun. It's open world, 4-player co-op, 10 properties and businesses you can purchase, a bunch of suppliers, workers, and dealers can be recruited to fully automate the drug empire you're building. Also, the game has vehicles, valuables, clothing, and weapons too. So I'm sorry to say, guys, but if you want to enjoy this game, you gotta play it on PC for now. Also, if you don't own the game, you might want to consider doing so. You have 2 years until the price increases. When the game came out, it was only $17.99, but of course, it being the 4th biggest game on Steam right now, price has increased, and in 2 years it's gonna increase by 25 to 50% after early access, which means the game's gonna be about $40 soon. And if the dev ends up wanting to get the game out on the Xbox or PS5 or the Switch too, I keep leaving out the Switch too, the news today was crazy, but when he ports the game over, expect it to be $40, guys. Definitely not gonna be just $20. By then it'll be a full release and the price increase will take effect, kind of like what happened with Rust and 7 Days to Die. Really weird comparisons. I know these games are completely different categories, but we covered a lot of console ports on the channel, and these developers tend to think exactly the same. It's pretty much the whole process that all of them takes. As always, continue to provide feedback, join the official Schedule 1 Discord, and give the man some ideas to incorporate in the game, because right now he's hard at work trying to get that first update out to us. It's actually expected to release this weekend. Anyways, guys, just wanted to speak on this game. Hopefully I cleared the air for all of you guys. Kind of sick of seeing all this content online saying, oh, the game's never going to be able to come to console, when in reality it's possible. We just have to wait. It's only one guy working on the game and it just came out. It's in early access. The only way I'd say that it wouldn't be a 2027 release is the solo indie developer hires some more developers, which could be a possibility later on in the year as he gets a bit overwhelmed with all the feedback and constant updates. It's normal. After all, we're all human. Either way, hopefully I gave you guys the answer to your questions. You got something out of this video, even though it might have been something you wouldn't want to hear, which is the long development process. It's gonna be a while before this game pops up on any console. In the meantime, please stay away from the rip-offs that are popping up online on both mobile and the PSN and Xbox store. It's just a cash grab, a scam, and lately it's been a very reoccurring thing. And in just 6 days, a rip-off pops up just like that. That's a new record. They gotta do something about their stores, man. Anyways, thanks for listening to what I had to say in this video. Love and appreciate all of you. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. Stay blue.